Okay, cool. So my name's Nieema, and I'm 23 years old.
So can you tell us about yourself?
hmm Okay, so it's so interesting because I always ask people this, but where do I start? Um, I would categorise myself as Black British. My family are from Nigeria, my dad's side, and my mum's mixed background from Somalia, Ireland, and Sierra Leone. And I'm really proud of my heritage. Um, Although I haven't actually been to those places as an adult, I really, really need to go. Um, I grew up in London for like the first 11 years of my life, and then moved to Reading. And I was really upset initially because Reading's obviously not a city. And then I made my way through school, and I decided not to go to university, which, as you can imagine, if you have a Nigerian grandparent specifically, that was not a good choice. I was like the black sheep of the family for a really long time, but I made the decision that I just wanted to, I guess follow my heart, or like just do something that I wanted to do, not what my parents or my grandparents wanted me to do. So I got into sales just by chance. I like speaking to people. I'm quite a people's person, you could say. I worked my way up. I'm quite competitive. I always did sport in school, so that worked really well in sales. And yeah, now I'm a managing director of my own company, and I also have a side project with a few of my friends, which I hope to be just as important as my current business as well. So I don't want it to be like a side hustle, but it's something that we started this year, which is a blog and a podcast. So yeah, that's me, I guess.
So what made you want to start your own company?
Do you know what? From as young as I can remember, I've always liked money. And not in like, I think it's because we weren't like struggling, but I was aware that we didn't have a lot of money growing up. My mum was actually a single mum growing up for like the first 10 years of my life when we were living in London. And I used to see her working so hard. I remember I used to ask her like, what careers can I have where I earn a lot of money? And the typical ones was like doctor, barrister, and stuff like that. And when I was a child, those salaries seemed like so much money. And then as I got older, I realised the cost of living, and life's expensive. And I just thought to myself, like, these doctors and these lawyers, they work so hard. You go to school for like 7 years, 6 years, 7 years, and you're making what, like 60, 70 grand a year. And for me, because I didn't have the best time in education, especially in the sixth form side of things, I was just like, I don't think I can go to uni and get the degree that I need to get the career that I need to be making double the average salary in the UK. So I was like, I just need to find something. And just by chance, I fell into an industry where you are able to progress to the point of running your own business. And so I didn't realise how much when I first started, but I love working for myself. I don't think I'm really good at having a boss at all. So yeah, not that I can't I'm not, insubordinate or anything, but I think the idea of I own my own thing, something I can be proud of, and I'm willing to work hard. Like, I'm willing to work 12, 13, 14 hour days for myself, not for someone else to make money off of me. So yeah, I guess that answers it. It's a bit of the money motivation, but also the pride in being able to work for myself and having that freedom and control as well.
Has it been hard to run your own company?
Definitely. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's definitely, I would say, I've been battered. But I think for me, I'm quite an optimistic person anyway. But I also I will back myself always. And running your own business means you're working on commission. And so for a lot of people, that's really scary because, everyone's got bills to pay. Everyone's got a life to live. So it's definitely not been easy. But again, like I said, I'll always back myself over another company. You've seen so many companies go bust, unfortunately, over the last few months alone, let alone the last few years. And I know that I can count on myself and my work ethic to kind of pull through. So it's been hard, but it's been worth it, and I'm really looking forward to being able to look back on the hard years when I've hit my goals, and to know that like that was worth it. Like it all made sense.
Did Corona set you back?
Yeah. I think the only person that wasn't set back by Corona was Jeff Bezos. Like, Amazon have been doing bits. Corona definitely set me back, but I think the way that I see it is, I said this to my friends actually when I had to kind of reshuffle my plan. I was like, the way that I see it, the destination hasn't changed, it's just the journey that has. And I think I've learned a lot of lessons already this year. I've learned a lot about myself this year. And I definitely think there's, the type of person I am, I don't know if it's a coping mechanism, but there's a silver lining in everything. There has to be. There has to be a sign or a reason for everything that doesn't go the way you initially wanted it to. So I'm trying to just get the silver linings from every kind of difficult situation this year, including Corona. And although it set me back, I think ultimately it's going to make my business stronger long term.
As a young black woman, do you feel any pressures?
I would say yes, but I think it in a positive sense, or maybe that's just my outlook, because even the industry that I'm in is really male dominated. So I work within a network of various different sales companies, and we all kind of share information. And I think the supplier that my company works with about 28 different companies. Of those, the people running them, only 3 of us are women, and 2 of which run theirs as a partnership with their partner. So I'm the only female owner, running my own kind of company on my own. And so I feel massive amounts of pressure, even with just like this year with Corona kind of setting me back. Part of the thing is like I've got my own personal goals, but I'm like, I can't not show up for women. Like I'm like the only face right now, and obviously there's other females in the industry that are coming through, and it's amazing, but a lot of the time when I go to networking events, I get other girls coming up to me being like, oh, it's so good to see a woman up on stage talking. And for me, I kind of feel the pressure in that sense that it's like I can't just be applauded because I'm a woman doing this. I need to be exceptional doing this, because I don't just want to be applauded because I'm the only woman. I want to be applauded for my actual achievements as well. So I definitely feel pressure in that sense. I'm also the eldest of 4, so I feel pressure in the sense that I was the one that veered away from what I was meant to do. I was meant to get a good degree and, go through the ranks that way, and I didn't. So I definitely feel pressure to succeed, because it's like I've got to set the example for my younger siblings. Especially my little brothers, they're 10 and 11. So I'm like one of the people, I guess, that they look up to. And yeah, but I think it's a good thing because it motivates me and it pushes me. And I'm quite fortunate that I have a lot of strong women around me. I have a really good friendship base of just like ambitious, driven, smart, amazing women. My mum is also one of those people. Her work ethic, the way that she thinks, the way that she's been able to just do everything throughout my life, and how she's kind of raised me and my siblings, that really pushes me. But I definitely have this like competitiveness in me that I'm like, I want to do it all. Like I want to be an amazing mum one day, I want to be an amazing wife one day, I want to be an amazing boss female running a business, I need to be an amazing friend. Like I don't know if that's because I'm a woman or if I'm just like that in myself. So yeah, but I definitely feel that pressure in business sense, just because it's so male dominated. And I went to a girls' school, so I've never been around so many men until I actually came into like the working world. So yeah, but I think it's a good pressure because it obviously pushes me.
What is your biggest achievement?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess it depends how you measure success. I think I would have to say getting to the point of incorporating my own business and trading as my own company is my biggest achievement, just because I remember the feeling of when I was working towards it, and I was going through these different challenges, and I was going through different things personally. And you know, when you're working in sales, a big part of it is your mentality, and not actually your skill set. You get to a point where you get your skill set just kind of works for you, but if you're not in the right headspace, then you're not performing to the best of your ability. And I think it's the same in any sort of performance-based industry, whether that be sport, or even acting, anything like that. So I went through a lot of challenges with my mentality and stuff like that. So when it came to the point of actually being like, oh my gosh, I'm incorporating my own company, I'm trading officially, and I remember the company that we work with, the supplier that we work with, they put on these big events, and you got up on stage to say like, yes, you've done this, and I actually cried on stage, because it was like, I feel like it was I guess it was my graduation. Like, it took me almost 3 years to get to that point, and I'd worked so hard for it. I'd gone through different challenges and battles. I'd gone through, you know, my mum being really unsure on what I should do, and my mum's like my best friend, so we were battling a lot with each other, so that was really difficult. And so to get to a point where it's like, oh my gosh, like I've hit the goal that I've been talking about for 3 years, that felt amazing. But then part of me is like, it's not good enough because I'm not where I want to be within the business, but sometimes you've got to pat yourself on the back, I guess. So yeah, I guess that would be my biggest achievement so far.
Can you elaborate on the mental challenges that you experienced?
Yeah, I can. So I guess before I actually joined the industry, I felt really lost, because I didn't enjoy college at all. And in fact, I call it my 2 dark years. I despised it. And then I left college with basically nothing to show for it. And all this potential is like this word that people use when you know, you don't perform to what they wanted you to. And so, yeah, I had all this like wasted potential. And I felt really lost. And so anyway, I'd gone through a hard time coping with things in college, felt really overwhelmed. I actually got referred for counselling and stuff like that, and just dealing with things, I don't know, I was just in a really weird headspace. And then when I joined the industry, it was great because it was like, like everyone's fun, everyone's driven, everyone's motivated, everyone's got a goal. This is something new, I love learning new things. I've got something that I can push towards, so that was awesome. But then I think the biggest thing was just, I guess, doubt, wondering like, is this for me? There's all these people that are succeeding and maybe I'm not where I want to be, so maybe this just isn't for me. And then that kind of that seed of doubt can just grow and manifest, and then you just have like this negative mindset without realizing, and I call it being lost in the sauce. So there's definitely moments where I've been like present but not present, because like I'm showing up for work each day but I'm not me, like I'm not Nieema. And then just also like personal challenges, relationships, won't go there, that just like throw you off your game. And so, like I said, when you're working in sales or any performance industry, you need your mentality the most. So it has a much bigger impact because you're stressing out more because you're like, I need to perform, but I'm not performing because I'm not where I need to be, and it's almost like a cycle. And you really have to be able to kind of break it. And for me, being able to break it is having like these anchors, or I call them my anchors, things that I know really motivate me and push me. And a really big anchor is just my family, and wanting to look after them, wanting to look after my mum. One of my biggest goals was being able to buy my mum a house and pay her a salary. So that for me, kind of a lot of the time when I remind myself of that, I can ground myself and just be like, come on, work through it. So yeah.
Do you have any upcoming projects with your company or anything in general?
Not specifically with my company. Again, everything's up in the air because of COVID. But in terms of like other projects, so I have, like I think I mentioned, I've started a brand or a platform called Untold with 3 of my close friends. And it's all about, it started off, we got inspired to do this because it started off with one of my friends just venting about her placement and some of the microaggressions that she experienced, being like a black woman with natural hair in the office. And then we were all sort of sharing experience, and we were like, guys, like we've got a lot to say and we've got a lot to share, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be able to relate with us as well. And then we were like, with everything that happened this year, we also were like, we want to be able to use this platform to breed more understanding through communication, through conversations. We want to use our platform to amplify other voices of other marginalised groups that maybe don't always get heard from their perspective. And so that's what we're really working on at the moment. I'm really excited because I'm really passionate about just equality, fairness, justice. So that's something that I've been putting like my heart and soul into. We started it over lockdown. Obviously we want it to go somewhere, and we want it to be something that people look to our brand for when it comes to diversity and inclusion, which sounds so like corporate, but we want our brand to be that, and ultimately be something that's known as a community that breeds understanding, like I said, through communication, trying to understand one another. So yeah, I'm really excited about that.
And did you get involved in the BLM movement?
Yes, I did. For as long as I can remember, my friends have been calling me a Black Panther. Before the movie came out, obviously the original Black Panthers, the civil rights activists that were quite hardcore in America. And it's because I've always been vocal. Since I was like 14, 15, I've had a lot to say on these issues. I remember attending a protest back in 2016 in London about Black Lives Matter. So when everything happened over summer, I was so angry. You couldn't tell me anything. At one point for weeks, I was just furious. And like I said, my mum's mixed race, so my nan is white. And I feel like she could feel my anger, and she felt really defensive. And obviously I know my nan has black grandchildren. My nan has black children, so obviously I know, and she should know that I know she's not like those people who my auntie calls insanity, my auntie calls racist insane, because it just doesn't make sense. But it was still really difficult because a lot of people think it's white versus black, and they don't understand that it's everyone with a heart versus racists. And so yeah, I got involved a lot in the BLM. I got involved in spreading awareness. One of my friends came to me saying that he was organising a protest in Reading for people that couldn't get down to London, because often I think a lot of us would just go to London, we're not too far away. And the first one had like an amazing turnout. I spoke at that protest, which was quite nerve-wracking because I'm used to public speaking kind of, but it just felt more like important to get this message that I wanted to get across right. And then since then I've actually become a part of a group, and we've called ourselves BLM Reading, and it's all about trying to make sure that we continue the efforts through education and politics in Reading specifically for BLM, and not it just be like a snapshot over summer of, you know, protesting and then nothing happens. So there's a lot going in the background trying to make sure that we get this right and continue this momentum as well.